Welcome to the Breeders' Cup 2015 Saturday Card Preview, the part 1 of our Saturday Card Preview presented by Horse Racing Station. In this part 1, we're going to go through the first 3 races of the Breeders' Cup card on Saturday. That is the Juvenile Fillies, the Turf Sprint, and the Filly and Mare Sprint. First off, the first Breeders' Cup race on Saturday is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, headlined by Songbird and Rachel's Valentina. Songbird is the morning line favorite for Jerry Hollendorfer and Mike Smith, morning line 7-5, but was drawn the 10 post, the outer post in this race. Right to her inside is Rachel's Valentina, the talented Rachel Alexandra filly, with 92 morning line for Todd Pletcher and John Velasquez. Rachel's Valentina is coming away with a late closing win in the spinaway, while Songbird was coming out of a wire-to-wire win in the Chandelier at Santa Anita. Also in this field for Doug O'Neill is Landover C, a very talented filly who finished 2nd and 3rd to Songbird the last 2 races she's run. Another talented horse in this field is Nickname, the winner of the Frizette from Belmont, a very sloppy race, but was able to come away with a 3.5 length win over Nemeralia. And then, of course, Dothraki Queen, who had the Alcibiades 2nd to Gomo last time out, also won the Pocahontas at Churchill Downs back in September. The horse I'm going to focus on here is Songbird. Songbird will probably be the favorite, although I think Rachel's Valentina is going to be heavily overbet based on her pedigree. Songbird, most impressive 2-year-old this year, whether the boy or the girls. Her Beyer figures are 3-year-old quality. Got a 90 Beyer last time out in the Chandelier. Just a dominating performance there. She should be alone on the lead in what is probably a very paceless Juvenile Fillies, and she's beaten some tough horses. Landover C right there, pretty and cool. I cannot see her losing this race. She will be a single in most of the multi-race wagers for me. She's been training well leading up to this race. I loved her October 24th workout at Santa Anita, 4 furlongs and 47 and 2. It was the 5th best of 75 workouts that day at the 4 furlongs distance. Very talented. She's won very easily in 2 grade 1 efforts. I can't look past her. I think she is definitely the one to beat here. She is my top choice here. I'm going to use Landover C. Landover C finishing 2nd to her last time out. Doug O'Neill is just a expert trainer with 2-year-olds. And I think her mid-pack sitting will really help her in this race. I'm going to use Nickname as well. Nickname for Steve Asmussen. Came out of a win in the Frizette at a very, very brutally fast pace on the slop, going 22-3, 46, 110-4, and 137 for a mile on a sloppy Belmont track. I think Nickname is a must-use in the exotics. And I'm going to put Rachel's Valentina as my 4th horse. I don't love her in this field. I don't like that she's been off on a layoff since September 5th. I wish she had one race there. She's only raced twice. An impressive win, the spinaway, but I just can't put her in the top 3. I will be using her at the bottom of my supers, maybe the bottom of my trifectas. But I think she's going to be very overbet, and I don't see her winning this race. Moving on is the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. It's the 2nd Breeders' Cup race on Saturday. It is being headlined by Lady Shipman and Undrafted. Undrafted will get Frankie Dettori. Frankie Dettori piloted Undrafted to a win in the Diamond Jubilee Stakes during Royal Ascot earlier this year. Lady Shipman has been a very dominating filly for Kathleen O'Connell, and she is going for the Turf Sprint instead of the Filly and Mare Sprint, or Filly and Mare Turf Sprint. Even though she is being pegged at 5-2, she's very talented, but I don't think she is as good as the morning line shows. She's been very consistent at the 5.5 furlongs distance. She's won many races, but what quality did she face? The only real horse that I could see in her running lines that she faced at is very good to Sunset Glow. She lost to Sunset Glow by a neck. Sunset Glow finished second in the wait while. But just what fields did she face? I don't think she's that good. She could surprise me. But last time out here at Keeneland at the 5.5 furlongs distance, she finished second by a head to Ageless. I would rather use Ageless than use Lady Shipman. Sadly, Ageless will not be running, so I don't have any other choice but not use Lady Shipman. I don't think either horse, I don't think Lady Shipman's all that good. I will be using her in my tries and supers. She is definitely a contender to finish up there, but she is not a win contender. She is not a win contender here. I don't care that she gets Irad Ortiz back aboard. It's going to help her, yes, but it's not going to make her a win contender here. However, my choice here is Ready for Rye. Yes, he is stepping up in class on the turf, but only making his third start on the turf. He's going to be improving. He beat the Great War last time on the turf. I'm going to scratch out last race, even though he earned a 104 Beyer. His best Beyer figures have been on the dirt. Just a very impressive horse who's putting it all together now, switching to turf. He faced very good company when he was sprinting on the dirt. Daredevil, March, Lord Nelson, Barbados, and then moving to the turf, an easy allowance optional claimer win at 7 furlongs. Then they cut him back to 5.5 furlongs in preparation for this race, and another very easy win there by a length and a half, coming from off the pace. And it was a very wide trip. Went 5 wide for most of the race. Now Ready for Rye is going to be drawn to the outside. I'm not a huge fan of that happening, but I think he'll enjoy the return to the 5.5 furlongs on the turf. My one complaint is that his best Beyers have been on dirt at longer, which makes it that if he doesn't like the turf here, if he can't perform, it could very well be a wide open race. But I think he'll be fine. I'm trusting in Ready for Rye. I'm making Ready for Rye my top pick. I'm going to use underneath Ready for Rye. I'm going to use something extra. The Gail Cox runner, Mike Smith aboard. I'm going to scratch out last race. It was just a muddy track at Keeneland. But the race before that, 5.5 furlongs at Saratoga, has a win and a 101 Beyer posted earlier this year in the Shakertown at 5.5 furlongs, right here at Keeneland. A win there. And the year before, racing the Shakertown, a third 5.5 furlongs on the turf here at Keeneland. Very talented horse, something extra. I'm going to use it. If Ready for Rye, for some reason, doesn't take to the Keeneland turf this time around, then something extra will definitely be my top pick. And then the Green Mask has been trying to find a win this year. I think a very talented sprinter. Ran in the Alquaz sprint at Maidan earlier this year, third to Soul Power. Last time out was mainly a prep for this, the Kentucky Downs Turf Dash. A very different type of race. He's not going to have undulations. He's not going to have a weird European turf course. It's going to be basically a one-turn normal course, flat here at Keeneland. I look more towards his form from last year, the Paradise Creek race at Belmont, and his Manila 4th at Belmont, as really who this horse is. I like that they're keeping with Joao Rosario here, so I'm going to use Green Mask. And Lady Shipman, yes, very talented at 5.5 furlongs. Don't think she's a win contender, but I'm going to use her at the bottom of my supers. Very similar to how I'm using Rachel's Valentina. Is not a win contender, but definitely a horse to keep in those exotics, and will pay having them lower there. You can have some prices above, and putting Lady Shipman near the bottom, versus a lot of people who might put Lady Shipman as either a single on top or only in the top 2 spots. You can get a price in the superfecta here in the turf sprint. The third race on Saturday is the Filly and Mare Sprint, a talented group of fillies going 7 furlongs on the dirt. Right off the bat, I'm going to get rid of Laverdad and Artemis Agotera. Laverdad, I don't like that she's coming off of a 1 week of rest. Artemis Agotera hasn't raced in 1 year since last year's Philly Mare Sprint. Not a big fan of Wavell Avenue for Chad Brown. I just think this is going to be a big step up in class. I understand a 101 buyer last time and a loss to Laverdad, but just not talented enough to really face this field going as fast as they can be early. Sweet Whiskey and Kiss to Remember, just 2 horses I'm going to keep out. I mean, they were 30-1. Just don't think they have a chance here. Neither does Room for Me, 15-1 shot, or Merry Meadow. So it leaves only a few horses that I think actually have a shot of winning. And going from the outside in, cavorting with a chance. Judy the Beauty, definitely with a chance. I'm going to use Stonetastic a little bit. I like the 109 buyer last time out, like the 108. And the prior shows that she can repeat, but coming off of a layoff isn't the best circumstances for Stonetastic. But I think Paco Lopez is going to know how to keep this horse going, and I'm going to use her lower. Super Majesty, horse that I think could be a wise selection for Jerry Hollendorfer. Terrace, Dame Dorothy, and Fioretti, the 3 horses on the rail. But my horse to focus for this race is going to be Terrace. Terrace is coming out of the 3 post. She's going to prefer the inside post. She had the inside post for the La Brea at Santa Anita, where she just got beat at the wire by Sam's sister. Terrace is a very talented horse. She's going back to her 7 furlongs distance, which I think she prefers. Last year at Keeneland, she ran the Lexus Raven Run, dominated that field by 9 lengths, beating Sweet Whiskey. Thank you, Mary Lou. Just completely drew away, where she got around the same post. She got the 4 post. Here she gets the 3 post. Last time out, scratched that race off the record. It really wasn't a fair race. She was just caught in a very, very deadly pace duel early. I think she's going to rate a little bit more off the pace this time. She'll improve with return to Keeneland, and she's been working out very well. Her last workout, October 24th at Santa Anita, 5 furlongs in 59 seconds. It was the best workout out of 85 workouts at that distance that day. Just a very talented horse. Simon Callahan, who really knows how to target these sprinters. And of course, anything coming out of the Michael Tabor, Derek Smith, and John McNair barn, you just have to use. They're a very talented horse. Terrace, huge chance here. I like this horse a lot, and Terrace is my top pick in the Filly and Mare Sprint. I'm going to use Cavorting underneath. Cavorting, another talented horse. Don't love that she is getting the outside post. She got the outside post before in the Devona Dale. Yes, it was at a mile, but she did not prefer that and just got caught wide throughout the whole race and didn't have a chance. In the Prioris, she also drew an outside post, but she was able to sneak a little bit inside, only going 3 wide before making a very wide move to win the Prioris at Saratoga. 6 furlongs. The test stakes, 7 furlongs, a very good prep for this. Definitely a race I'm going to look at, where both the first and second place finishers came back to finish first and second, cavorting Bar of Gold in the Prioris next time out. She's improving. She's a very talented 3-year-old. I'm going to use her. I'm going to use a huge price on the rail in Fioretti. Loved her last 3 starts. Won the TCA Stakes. Won the Groupie Doll. No, sorry, second in the Groupie Doll. And she's only been at a big price because the connections, not because of what she's done. She's done a lot. I think she's going to prefer 7 furlongs. It's in between the 6 furlongs and the mile that she's been running. She's has a few starts at that. She has 1 start at that distance. That was a second. Well, that was a long way back. That was in an allowance race. Not going to focus on that. But her recent form is talented enough, and I think she will play a factor in the end of this race. And I'm going to use Judy the Beauty, the defending champion. While she may have taken a step back this year, she was 2nd in the Humana Distaff, 3rd in the Honorable Miss, and then 3rd in the TCA Stakes last time out here. I think she's going to love the return to 7 furlongs once again. should be a talented horse. Is she as good as she was last year? I don't think so. But isn't a horse I'm just going to throw out here. So I'm going to go Terrace, Cavoiding, Fioretti, and Judy the Beauty in this race, the filly and mare sprint. So that was part 1 of our Saturday card preview. Later today will be part 2 of the Saturday card preview, previewing the next 3 races. And then sometime on Thursday, check for part 3 of the Saturday card preview, which will preview the last 3 races of the day, concluding in the Breeders' Cup Classic.